Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Turin here with another Warhammer Total War live battlecast. In this particular game, we are going to play the Wood Elves against the Dwarves, which I've actually found to be a pretty tricky matchup, but hopefully you guys enjoyed its strategy. It's been working okay for me. So we're actually going to try Orion. He's not terrible. He does have an armor-piercing missile attack, which does not do magic. So again, it's not going to be mitigated that heavily by the Dwarves, and it's pretty decent for like sniping out, some of their heroic units. So we're going to try Orion out. We're also going to get a Waystalker and a Branch Wraith. And with the Branch Wraith, we're going to get rid of all these abilities, and we're just going to simply keep the Earth Blood. And with the Waystalker, Hawkish Precision is fine. Also, the Arrows of Acronis are very, very good. I love this ability. It's very strong, armor-piercing damage, and pretty good for taking out pertinent targets. So no potions needed on him either. So as far as our main build, we're going to get some Eternal Guardians. We're probably going to get 5 Eternal Guards, not Eternal Guardians. Gosh darn it. And we're going to get 5 of those guys. Pretty strong. Armor-piercing, good stats. They can hold the line against Dwarves for quite a long time if you actually have the Branch Wraith healing them. So also on top of that, we're going to get Treekin. Now, I know they might seem like kind of counterintuitive in this build, considering they do magic damage, and they don't have the highest combat stats with only 26 melee attack, but still, they really keep that front line together, because a lot of times, if you just have, the Eternal Guards here, they can get crumbled from time to time if you're not careful against certain builds. So having these trees in the front line with the guys, in my opinion, is pretty darn strong. So we're going to get them, and then I actually mix in 2 Wildwood Rangers. So these guys actually have 45 weapon strength, which is huge. And if you can get them into the Dwarven line and have them kind of integrate with your other melee troops, they can do some really good work for you. But again, the downside is that they only have 40 armor and they are pretty squishy. So again, something you have to take with a grain of salt, but they are quite strong. So now we have a little bit extra to spend, and I actually don't even get Glade Guards in this build because I've played a lot of missile builds versus the Dwarves, and I kind of find that I just run out of ammo, and it's kind of frustrating. So we're actually going to mix it up a little bit, and the Wild Riders aren't terrible depending on the map. Yeah, so this is an open map, so if I kind of close the distance on my opponent pretty quickly, the Wild Riders with shields aren't terrible because they do have the silver shield, so chasing down Coilers, things like that, it's okay. I feel like they're kind of mediocre in terms of cav, but, especially for how much you're paying, but still, not a terrible choice in my opinion. So, some Hawk Riders actually aren't bad either. We could perhaps do that if we were to cut one of these guys, but I really like the Treekin a lot. So I think what we'll do is just actually chevron most of our frontliners up here. Looks like we don't have quite enough, and it looks like he did switch to Clan Angren, so the magic might be pertinent, but Orion has a pretty heavy hitting melee attack that's magic damage, and then also the Waystalker here has magic ammunition, so I think we should be fine against those ethereal units. Let's go ahead and start it and see how it goes, boys. So yeah, it's funny, a lot of the builds that I've been playing as the Wood Elves, they don't use that many missile units. You guys probably saw my Empire build was just mostly a melee core with a few skirmish cav. It's very funny how that all worked out, but I found it to be pretty effective. Granted, the Wood Elf missile units, the Glade Guards, can be pretty darn good in certain matchups, but I like them against the Greenskins for killing Biggins and Savage Orcs, and Orc Boy Biggins get cut down pretty hard by that missile fire as well. But I really do like the Hagbane tips, considering they have 95 plus move speed. It's pretty darn strong in my opinion. So looks like my opponent's got a fast connection, guys. So we're in luck here. Things are gonna work out. Hopefully it won't be a laggy game for y'all, but the one thing about this build is it's not the most fun to watch because it's kind of in a way, it's like a Death Star build. Look at my army. I really don't have too many ranged units. It's just very, very to business. So it might not be that fun to watch, but I just more so than anything wanted to show you guys this build. So we're gonna put the trees back here and probably spread them out a little bit more because he's probably gonna have Iron Drakes or something. That is one thing that's a little hard about this build. You don't have a lot of. It's pretty hard to penetrate the back line of the Dwarves without taking a ton of missile fire, but considering this is such an open field map and he doesn't have any natural terrain, I should be okay with these Wild Riders here to get in there. And they do have the silver shield, so could be much worse. So we're going to put these guys here and keep them in the back. And what I actually do is I kind of just mash them up in the front line, and they eventually get their way through to the front and start fighting. They are pretty squishy, even against other Longbeards. They only have 40 armor, so these guys can take a beating, so it's better to have them mixed in with other troops. So we want the Branch Wraith, we can just put him right here. The Waystalker we can just put out on the side, that's fine. We can go all Legolas up in here. And then Orion, yeah. This is actually only my second or third time using Orion, so you guys will have to bear with me. We're going to go here. We're going to put these guys do have Vanguard, but against the Dwarves, I don't want my cav to be messing around with them until my main core is taking the fire. So we're going to go ahead and advance here. Looks like he has some Coilers and other units like that, so hopefully the sustainability of everything is... we want to use this as soon as possible, too. So let's go ahead and just take a look around. He does have this Throny Iron Barrel. Let's actually shoot it and see how it does. It's probably... I actually usually like to use it on Coilers and things like that, but we'll see how it pans out here. Wild Riders, we'll just start riding these guys. They're not Wild Riders yet. They are Wild Riders. So I'm not sure what he was shooting at there. I actually clicked it. You guys saw that. Oh, that was something else. What? Did it not cast or something? That's weird. I don't know what that was, but we're gonna keep going, guys. We're not gonna complain. We're just gonna take it. So base contact doesn't really do much damage, so I probably won't use it on him again. So we're gonna move around here, just keep pushing. It looks like he has some cannons, which is fine. I feel like this build I have is I mean, it's better against like builds like this that have like a ton of range units, because right here he's like, all right, he's gonna get Glade Guards all day. You know, I'm gonna just punish them with Coilers, but these Coilers are gonna be obstructed against a lot of my units. So let's just keep riding around, just keep pressuring in the back line, keep Big Papa Orion coming. Let's go ahead and just use the Hounds and just have some fun. We'll use it right there and see if we can get anything. Use this little speed too, why not? So just engage the front line. Pretty standard protocol here, guys. We're gonna have a good time. And Homeboy here, we want him to be shooting on Throny for most of this battle if possible. So let's go ahead. Actually, no, the Rune Lord's a pretty good target. He's so big and clunky. So we did get the Hounds in there. It looks like it actually did a little bit of damage, so I can't complain, guys. We're gonna get the trees in here. The Coilers, most of my units are pretty resilient against the Coilers, with the exception of these kind of spears here. So we'll put them here. We'll keep this guy. Maybe we'll just kind of scurry him around the back and just see if we can be annoying. Oh, these guys took some cannon fire, so they got slowed down for sure. So, cool. So let's go ahead and get Orion in here. We'll just have him start spearing this Rune Lord, and oh man, my opponent is gonna have a hard time keeping up with all these guys. So let's actually just go around like feign in here and then go up and around like that. That should be fine. So we're getting some nice missile fire on his Lord here. Orion's throwing the spears in there. Let's actually use a little bombardment ability of his in there. So you can see some of these units are coming over after me here, and I should be able to just outrun, kind of run circles around them. So we're engaged in the front line here. We're gonna use this Lifeblood right in this main core, just kind of run him into melee. He's actually not bad there, so we got to just keep pressuring my opponent. Orion just continuing to throw spears, and look at the damage he's done to this Rune Lord already. So the Rune Lord is a pretty big target, actually. So if we just kind of keep popping away at him, and let's go use that. Let's get these cannons here. And so far, so good, guys. And we actually almost already have the Hounds of Gehenna set. So we're going to pull these guys in here, which is nice because he's going to pull all of his forces to deal with these guys, and we're simply just going to pull out here. And let's go ahead and make sure to use this Hounds ability right there in that nice center juicy pocket. We're going to pull up and around, and he's probably going to keep chasing me, which will allow these kind of guys I've sent in the flank to really do their job. So let's pull him up and around here. Very good. So you guys can see my front line is sustaining pretty well. Not much damage. The next Earthblood will need to be used right there. And Orion is continuing to hunt this guy down. And he's certainly having problems chasing my guys there. And I was able to get these spears in the flank. He did intercept with his Rune Lord, which obviously isn't ideal. So we just want to keep Orion and Big Papa there. We get a nice little charge in that cannon crew. So let's actually just go ahead and pull over here. And it looks like he's finally pulling back some long groups. So let's actually just keep running in circles here. Really obnoxious. Check for abilities. Make sure we're not missing anything. And we do have this up right now. So let's actually go ahead and use this because these guys are taking a bit of a beating right now. Let's actually just beeline those guys right in there. You guys will see at the end of the game, the Wildwood Rangers, they'll actually have done quite a bit of damage. So we got to just keep focusing on that Rune Lord. It's a very, sturdy target, but oh, this cannon's going to eat it. Let's get right back in here in the juicy spot, guys. So over here, these guys in the flank are doing really good. They've actually kind of pinned that Rune Lord, and I'm tempted to send Orion into melee. Let's actually start running him over there and just kind of, he can throw spears from, as close as you'd like. So really no problem either way. We still have 18 seconds here on this, and it looks like my Wild Riders have gotten in there doing a pretty darn good job. The open field is a tough situation for the Dwarves, and the thing is, guys, this is like an anti-meta build, because a lot of people are just going to assume that the Wood Elves are going to bring like all of these, freaking, pretty somewhat scary units. Actually, where do we want this? Yeah, we can just do that right there. And we got to wait for that to finish casting. Sometimes I get a little excited and do that myself, but he was expecting Glade Guards and things like that, and when they don't come around, it's gonna be pretty tough. So we'll get Orion in there, and he hits like a truck in melee, guys. It definitely is very, very strong. So we're gonna get some spoilers in there, get these Wild Riders continuing to cycle around. You don't want them sitting in sustained combat, even against these guys, because Wild Riders themselves only have 40 armor, so they're really not gonna shine there. So let's overcast this right here, and this is a nice juicy pocket to hit, because my flank over here is doing pretty well. So Orion's doing a pretty good job. He's on the hunt, guys. He's doing his thing. Let's go ahead and use the Hounds over here. Though they have the magic resistance, you might as well just use it if you have it, you know what I'm saying? So he does have some Coilers, so we'll just use these guys to continue to chase him down. And it looks like he kind of has consolidated his forces here, and I am obstructed a little bit, so let's see if we can readjust that kind of firing line there. Big Papa Orion should be able to finish him. He does have 490 weapon strength, so that's pretty darn scary, guys. But you can see my cav are starting to get worn down a little bit, because again, like I was telling you guys, they're not the most heavily armored. I could detach some units here, but I really don't want to kind of spread myself out, so I really want the benefit of that Lifeblood or Earthblood or whatever it's called. So yeah, the Rune Lord's going down here, and when he goes down, we're going to be in pretty good shape. We should collapse those guys in the back. I was a little slow to do that, but guys, look at the trees. The tree can held up here, but again, if he had gone with a very infantry heavy dwarvish build, it could have been a lot harder to win, because he was accounting for a traditional build that has skirmishers and Glade Guards and all those type of things, but he brought all these missile troops, which really weren't that effective against my build, I don't think. So I do think in retrospect, if he had kind of focus fired my my cav a little bit more and had used his Coilers to shoot down my Elk Riders here, or whatever the hell you guys want to call them, I think that could have been a little better for my opponent. And of course, the Clan Angrand, the kind of ethereal unit, though it does cause terror, I suppose that's one of the perks, it's really not going to work out the best in my opinion. So let's just get in here. Let's get balls deep, have some fun. We can use the Golden Hounds here, see if that does any damage. It looks like that's all she wrote for him. But yeah, this guy has a magic melee attack, obviously, so it's going to be pretty darn scary. Does he have some Slayers lurking around here or something? Yeah, it looks like he does, so always a good time. Never like fighting my own people. definitely feels bad, but we're gonna get in there and just hopefully be able to clean this up pretty quick. Only a 16, but yeah, guys, I really like that build. I feel like it's pretty strong. I'd like to get your guys' feedback if you're able to go on ladder and try it against the dwarves. You know, it's good. You know, I'd been playing a lot of Blade Guard and, you know, different builds like that, and was having trouble. I was like running out of ammunition, and they were just these really atrocious battles. And then I just got the Treekin. You know, a lot of people are kind of scared away on bringing them against the dwarves because they're like, oh no, magic, you know, magic damage, and you know, and they're wood, which means they can be lit on fire. But still, more often than not, I think they pay their dues. And also, these guys are a nice kind of mix into the build, the Wildwood Rangers. But again, if he had been able to focus them effectively with the Quarrelers, it could have been a different story. But they were up in the front lines, you know, kind of. Is my opponent running here with this one Slayer that he has? That's pretty funny. But if you get them like integrated among the trees and then the Eternal Guards, they're gonna have shields and all that bark protecting them. It's pretty hard to shoot them out of that blob there. So I found that to be pretty effective. So guys, we'll go ahead and take a look at the breakdown here. So you can see the Eternal Guards, I mean, they did pretty darn good. I mean, for low tier infantry, Wildwood Rangers, big performers. I mean, they were able to cut through those Longbeards pretty well. I mean, 64 kills against the Dwarves is no joke, especially considering he didn't really have fodder. Wildwood Rangers obviously were able to get into the backline simply because of his build. And I don't think his build was bad. I might have changed up the Ethereal Lord, but still, you know, that backline was so vulnerable because he invested so much in the anti-missile kind of build, you know. So, again, just another meta nuance. But the trees obviously aren't there for the kills, but still, they took a beating, and you saw they were all in good health, and they just kept fighting and, you know, really absorbed a lot of the damage these guys might have taken. Orion, some good utility. His spears do quite a bit of damage. It's not magic damage, so at taking out, you know, a Rune Lord, or if you need to get in and do magic damage in melee to these ethereal units, it's pretty good. And also, his missile attacks aren't bad. The bombardment and the hounds are, you know, it's recurring, and it's essentially free. So, you know, take it as you will. Definitely looks like Mel Gibson, though. My God. Anyways, really good game to my opponent, Nathan B16. I look forward to seeing you again on ladder, and I hope you guys enjoyed that Wood Elves cast. Have an excellent night, and take care.